Everybody wants to be a millionaire, right? If you're a doctor or other high income professional, then you may think you have a better chance of getting millionaire status versus the average person, right? Well, not so fast. Not only do we start working later on in life, sometimes well into our 30s, but the thing is, our debt load is so much higher than what typical graduates have. One of the first things you must do is change the way you think and to change the way you look at money, because being a millionaire these days ain't what it used to be. If you're new to this channel, I'm Dr. Jeff Anzalone, a periodontist helping you exit the rat race by passive income. If you haven't already, you can download the free guide to getting passive income with the link below this video. Now, I just mentioned that being a millionaire ain't what it all used to be. For instance, if you've got $1 million in the bank and you use the typical 4% rule each year to access your money, which is only about 4 grand a month with no income, then after about 25 years, you'd run out of money. Who can live off of 4 grand? Who wants to live off of 4 grand a month? Not me. What about when you're wanting to retire down the road? Later on in life, what do you think the 4 grand a month is going to buy you? Probably nothing more than a weekend road trip staying at like a mediocre hotel, right? So when people talk about becoming a millionaire, again, you've got to change the way you think about money. And with no money coming in, you're going to be worried living off of only 4 grand a month. So let's do something about it. Now, when I interviewed Grant Cardone in a previous interview, which you can access right up here, he stated it best. He said, millionaires are basically middle class people that are worried about money. Cardone is best known for his book, The 10X Rule, because of this. He thinks the number you should shoot for is more like 10 million instead of one. And if you've got 10 million with no income, then you could probably live the life that you wanted to. So the question remains, how do you get to this number? It starts with this, which is our first step to becoming a millionaire. It all starts with setting a target. So most of us shoot for the wrong target because we're doing the wrong math. Doctors are the absolute worst about this, because think about it. We've gone through all this training and we've put off and we've delayed gratification for so many years that when we do finally finish training, what happens? The dam finally burst, right? So what are our targets going to be? Our targets got to be the new car, the new house, the boat, the watch, the iPhone, the whatever. Because hey, I'm finally making money. And the problem is these new liabilities become the new target. But these are the wrong targets. Your attention needs to be on the new target. It's not the watch, it's not the car, it's not the vacation. The new target is freedom. So you've got to change the target and you've got to look at it. Even if you've got to write it on a whiteboard like this and look at it every day, that's a new target, freedom, to keep you focused. And if you're struggling right now, guess what? You've got the wrong target. When you change the target, guess what? Everything changes. And now when you're thinking about buying the new Lexus or whatever, you're automatically going to shift to the new target. And again, if your freedom number is 10 million or 5 million or whatever, then the new Lexus is going to keep you from getting there. Having a daily target will help you stay on track. That's the first step. The second step is this: save 40%. By far, this is going to be the hardest step because too few people are actually going to change their lifestyle to do it. But if they do, then freedom is going to be coming much sooner than age 65. Think about it. It really shouldn't be that hard if you're coming out of residency or coming out of college or whatever, because guess what? You're already used to living on next to nothing, right? Now, I want you to think about how you're living right now and how much of your gross income you're saving. What do most financial experts tell us to save? 10%, 15%, maybe 20% at the most. Why? Because they're all teaching the same thing. They're teaching the what? They're teaching the accumulation method to retirement. Put your money in what? Put your money in a 401k for 50 years and then you'll be ready to enjoy life. What, at age 80? What if I want to ski 3 months out of the year? It's kind of hard to do when you had both knees and hips replaced, right? Think about it. They They brainwash us into giving up 40 years of our life, trading our youth when we're healthy, right? Trading our youth when we're healthy for later down the road when we have this huge pile of money and sometimes we can't enjoy it. So if you were offered financial freedom at age 35 or age 75, which one would you take? 35 all day long, right? It's almost like if you're selling off body parts for money. And then when you one day get to, the point where you want to go and you only have one body part left and you've got a bunch of money, what fun is that? How can you enjoy it? You can't. But again, that's what we're brainwashed to think. Again, it's how you think about money. So again, the new goal is 40%, saving 40%. Let's do a little bit of math. So think about it. Let's say somebody's making 10 grand a month. Okay. Somebody's making 10 grand a month. They want to save 40%. Well, you've more than likely you've got to pay taxes. So you got to pay 4 grand taxes. Then you want to save 40%. That's another 4 grand. That's going to leave you what? I'll leave you with 2 grand to live on. Now remember, the IRS, they don't trust you to pay them, do they? They don't trust you to pay them. So what do? They take their money before you get it, right? When you look at your check, it's already deducted. They've already gotten their money before it even gets in your hands. So if you're making 10 grand a month and you'll pay the IRS $4,000, then you need to figure out how you can pay yourself 4 grand as well. That's the problem. And the problem in this situation is trying to live off 2 grand, especially if you're married. So when the conversation comes up that you need a new car, you say, look, we don't have enough money for a new car. Why? Because what you're doing is you're saving. No, you're not saying, you're not saving anymore. The new word is you're storing. So you want storage. You think about this 40% as storage. Okay. That's a better word. You're storing the money each month. You're stockpiling it, but you're not going to store it too long, because eventually if you store something for too long, especially cash, it becomes worthless. If it sits there too long, it eventually dies, right? It disappears. Remember what happened to Pablo Escobar's money, all that cash that he had that sat too long? Bugs got it, mold got a hold of it, thieves stole it from him. So for him, because he didn't use his cash, it was either destroyed or taken from him. Instead of somebody making 10 grand a month, let's say you're making 20 grand a month, okay? So you've gotten a raise, okay? So now, again, the 40%, you're going to store, well, you're going to pay that, you're going to pay your taxes, you're going to pay the 40%, you're going to give the IRS 8 grand, 40%. you're going to store, you're going to bank the other $8,000, and then it's going to come up with leaving you, well, 4 grand a month. All right. This is the right way to do a budget. So if you're making 20 grand a month, you got 4 to live on. What about somebody making 30 grand a month? Well, you got to pay the IRS what, 12? Then you got to pay yourself 12. That leaves you $6,000 to live on. All right. Now, if you're storing 12 grand and you're paying taxes on 12 grand, so now you're starting to kind of realize that you got to be making over $300,000 a year to live on to really start getting things going. Now, at this point, if you're storing right here 12 grand for 12 months, that's $144,000 a year. You bank that for 10 years, you got 1.4 million. You got 1.4 million in storage, 10 years. Congratulations, you're now a real millionaire. You've got it banked, okay? Number 3, go broke and invest. Guess what? You invest your storage. You invest your money. So the storage that you've been saving, it has to get invested. The golden goose is only good if she lays eggs, right? Money needs to make babies, and the only way to make more money is to put it into circulation, which is called cash flow, right? So in our example, 12 months, 144,000 a year, 1.4 million. Now, you don't want to you don't want to invest your storage in something that's like a maybe. In other words, you don't want to risk your money. Well, think about one of the best investors of all time, Warren Buffett. What did he say? Rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, never forget rule number one. All right. So you want to put your money, you want to invest that storage into something that's not a maybe, that doesn't have a super high risk. Moving on to number four, you want to get to the point where your passive income is greater than your active income each month. Your active income is the money you get working your day-to-day job. By doing this, it's going to provide you the motivation to help you stay on track. And I talk to investors all the time, or people that want to invest. I ask them, they're in my passive investor circle group. If you're not a member and you want to see some of the deals that I invest in, there's a link below this video. I ask them all the time. I say, what goals do you have? Do you have like a certain amount of passive income you want, X amount by a certain time period? No, I just think passive income is just a kind of a good thing to have. Telling you, unless you have that specific target, setting that goal, but that's what's going to give you the motivation to help you stay on track. Each month, each year, your job is to store excess cash somewhere where it's protected. Then when you get to the point where you start investing it for cash flow, guess what? Each month, each quarter, you start getting this little drip. Each month, each quarter, little drip, little drip. You keep throwing money at it. Guess what? Keep adding to it. Drip gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then one day you're going to look up and you're going to have money. Right now I've got money besides my practice. I have money coming from 8 different sources. Okay. And if you ever want to get off the treadmill, grinding it out on the treadmill, then you can once you reach your goal that you set. But again, you've got to have multiple streams of income to do it as quick as possible. And the fifth step is give yourself time. You remember what the first goal was? Set a target, right? Too many people out there are setting their sights on becoming a millionaire by 30 or 40 or whatever. But you got to realize that anything worth obtaining in life, it takes time and it takes patience. And even the richest people have to struggle at some point. I don't care what these .com millionaires or these other people preaching out there, nothing's going to happen overnight. So you've got to work hard at it to reach your goal. The key to becoming a millionaire is simple, but yet it's hard to do. It's all about changing your perspective on money and not letting it control you. You need 3 things: the right mindset, hard work, perseverance. Too many people fail today because they either don't set specific, realistic goals or they don't set any at all. What is it that you really want? What are your dreams? Write those down. Once you do this, once you create these, then it's time to create guaranteed income so that even if things don't go as planned, you'll still have something to fall back on financially. Now the question remains, is becoming a millionaire hard? Well, not really. Now, if you want to know the top 4 assets to invest in to start along your millionaire journey, guess what? I've got it all laid out for you in this video right here. I'll see you over there.